Welcome, Supreme Commanders, friends, and those on YouTube that have randomly gone and clicked to today, a 6 versus 6 on Gap. It's been about a year ago since we've last featured one of these games, but this one's different. Why? Because we've got a 2200. Yeah, thought I'd get this one done. I'm actually going away for 3 days, starting later this afternoon, or 3 nights, should I say, so more like 4 days. Last little hurrah in the dying days of the summer holidays. You could technically argue they're already over. And wouldn't you know it, the whole country is covered in clouds. Those of you that are in any way into flying for real or in the Sims, you'll know what instrument flight rules means. Yeah, all the airports pretty much as I speak right now are on instrument flight rules only. And that means if you ain't got ILS, you ain't coming in. Alright, let's get started then, and we will start in the top right corner here, and apologies in advance to Merton. The scoreboard's going to be covering his base more often than not, so I apologise in advance. There's just nothing I can do about it on this map. Yeah, so Merton, 1700 there in lime green, playing as Aeon will pick up the pace a little bit, going first land. As we move to his southwest in electric blue is Tengu, today's 2200. And in all fairness, it was because of this guy that I decided to cast a Gap. Because since when do 2200s play on Gap? Well, the answer is today, and Tengu's going to show us how it's done. He's going Cybran. I did actually look up who on earth is Tengu. I decided to click on his name. Name history, and there was non-stop name changes to a whole bunch of random names. So if you're curious, I'll let you check that out, but you're not going to be much wiser than I am. As we continue on then in Bran, we've got another Cybran is, I'm going to make a pig's ear of this, Pygra. I apologise in advance. You know, there's a lot of people that I upset when I get some of these names wrong. But in any case, he's Cybran. He's 1500. Crossing to the other side of the river then to round things off for Team 2, or the team on the right. In pink, we've got Ferganic. He's going as Seraphim, 1500. Continuing to the south here in Mustardy is MRA. No idea what that could possibly stand for. Sounds a bit like the what was it? The medicines regulatory something or other that we have. Who knows? But either way, I'll leave my stupid guesses to one side as we carry on. He's already getting his upgrade there, minute 2, and his first mass extractor's almost up to level 2. And last but not least, for his team in orange is Nitrazepam, the 1300 Cybran. Nitrazepam. Well, you know, 20 years ago, maybe, you know, I was one of those that did like to dabble a little bit into this and that, and no more, but yeah, that was one of them, and I can only imagine that Nitrazepam likes them also. As we switch to the other side then, by the way, they in no way endorse any sort of I am not a doctor, you know, all that BS that you have to say these days, so... It is a player's name. Hello, Googlebot. It's a player's name. Right, as we carry on, K240 over here in Aeon. He's in grey. The 1200, the lowest rate player in today's game, going double air as a first start. Continuing to his northeast in Cyan, we've got ourselves Iron Lag, a 1700, also going Aeon first land and second air. And the last for below the river for Team 1 in Burgundy Red, another Aeon is, oh God, Elk, P4 Elk _A. Felk, I guess. Let's go with Felk. He's a 1600 in any case, first land, second and third Navy. And across the pond, we need to really slow things down. We've got a couple of the final players to go. We've got Astronome, 1600 Seraphim, going first air in Lilac. Next to him in green, we've got Prophet, a 1900 UEF. Glad to know somebody knows what factions they're playing as today. By the way, no random factions at all today, so no excuses from anybody. And last but not least, in Highlight Agreed, we've got Hoshmosh, one of the all-time favourites here on Fav. First land, second air, and expanding and getting his upgrades nice and quick. Alright, with that, introductions complete, my random BS complete, and we can pick up the pace. See a lot of heavy bomber aggression versus the 2200. Tengu managing to pick off 2 engineers as well as the mass extractors they were working on. And you can see here, even a factory as well. Tengu did manage to hang on to a single engineer. Looks like he's more interested in the reclaim than anything else. Players flying around individual engineers. Never great to land next to the enemy Tech 1 tanks if you are only an engineer and only Tech 1. Lots of aggression, lots of transports all around. Another one shot down there. Hoshmosh paying attention. We'll have a quick look how the early starts are going if we take a look there from Team 1's point of view. By that took a moment and a half to change over. And so, yeah, Team 1 are definitely getting the better, it seems, of the land. They've got the furthest unit, or the most amount of units, the furthest afield. Hoshmosh, in no small part, got a good grip of the air there. Navy-wise, oh, they seem to have the numbers in the Navy as well. For Gannick, mostly engineers at this stage, 1 sub. The raid here continuing from Astronom, from Team 1, team left. Big reclaim operations all over the shop. This Tengu struggling to claim the mechs behind him. As the raids from Team 1 continue, this time inside the base. In comes the bomber. Was it going for engineers? No, going for mass points. Now, if that bomber can swing back round, that's going to be a half upgraded mass point that's going to go down. Oh, he almost got it. That would have been expensive. And there we see Tengu does realize, and he gets the repair order in an upgrading mass extractor, which I believe, if memory serves, actually requires you to use the repair command. Because if you use the assist, which would be the normal way to repair a unit, it would actually just help upgrade the unit that is not yet complete. Tengu going for a quick upgrade there on the Tech 2. Actually, a very modest size base. Take a look at this. He's got 1 factory, a few PGens in base, obviously the Hydro, and 1 factory outside the base together with 5 mass extractors. Manages to get himself a point defense down, and Team 1 are definitely picking on this guy. We see that another beautiful bombing run there from Merton, taking out numerous engineers. What's that? 6 engineers. He's coming back round for more. Tengu gets himself a Sky Slammer online and does finally deal with that bomber. Tengu, now that he's at the Tech 2 stage, and always like to do this as a UEF player, surround your commander with factories, Tech 1 factories, and then you can very quickly spew out units or engineers, and those engineers can, of course, get you up to Tech 3 super quick. As long as you've got the eco. It's probably even quicker to get yourself from Tech 2 to Tech 3 than it is from Tech 1 to Tech 2, just because it takes forever to build a factory at Tech 1. Take a look at the Navy. And for Gannick, definitely preferring the sub play. Felk doing the more traditional on the top attack boat frigate play. And of course, if you are the sub player, you need to keep the pressure on. Otherwise, what's the point? Don't sit back, wait for your opponent to go for Tech 2, because, you know, that's going to spell the end of your subs. Astronom keeping on the pressure, gets himself a forward Tech 2 point defense. And Felk, oh, beg your pardon. Pride. Let's just go with Pride. Sorry, pal. Not a clue. Pride forced to back off. Just Tech 1. Has a lot of units, though. May be able to overrun the point defense if he manages to get them together. Seeing from the other side, not a huge commitment to the land. They've got just enough to lock it down. Further to the north, Prophet, who is the primary opponent of Tengu, he's made the switch up to Tech 2. Got engineers actually putting himself a Tech 2 PGen on the front line. That's always a sign that this player's got no tech back in base. And Tengu made the switch up to mobile missile launcher. I will be focusing on Tengu somewhat for the first half of the game, just because I really feel that there is a lot that players can learn from this guy. Certainly amazed me to see the skill level. I did get a comment the other day saying, forgive me, I can't remember who it was, saying that they felt the skill level wasn't as high as it used to be, and I absolutely do not agree. The skill level compared to when I used to play is so much higher. It's not even nearly the same. And you may say some of that is due to the mods. And I'm sure that is true. But nonetheless, the players of today are better. Like for like, right? A 1500. Prague, again, it's going to be forced back there. Predominantly Tech 1. Tengu. This comes forward with a couple of T2 units, including a Viper. The problem is, though, he's got mobile missile launchers incoming as well. Is Tech 2, but that is all. Gets himself this Cerberus turret online. Working together quite well with Prague here. Seems to be just enough units to prevent a complete overrun here from Team 1. Team 1, who are now producing more land units, a mixture of Tech 1 and Tech 2. Engineers, of course, we've got a stealth base online. We'll see what difference that makes from Tengu's perspective. I see it, the entire units within this sort of radius here completely disappearing, apart from what was already ID'd, in this case the solitary railgun. Got yet more mobile missile launchers here as we come further south. Very little pressure further here. We see this solitary point defense Tech 2 with 26 kills. That's almost a crime that there haven't been, whether it's some Tech 1 bombers or mobile missile launcher or something to deal with this unit. Further south in the Navy, things at least for now relatively quiet. Both players preferring to wall off than commit all in. Mobile missile launcher there making a determined shot at the radar. And the trick is, of course, with mobile missile launchers, or at least the rounds incoming, to keep moving, because if you stand still, they're a guaranteed kill. Well, they're going to hit you. No doubt about it. What's this? A mobile bomb there from Tengu, just the one. Are invisible, but are picked up on radar. Oh, speaking of mobile bombs, we've got 3 of them here moving in from Tengu. We've got Tech 2 mass extractors, 2 of them. And there they go, taking out both extractors and the engineers. interesting move that. Up round the side, down. Radar sees them visually, of course. You don't unless you're there with your commander. Don't know if the perimeter monitoring station can see him or not. Perhaps someone can let us know on that. Is of course far too early in the game for one of those. Probably far too late in the game to be using mobile bomb, but would still like to know. There is a bit of pressure further south now with the Navy. Team 2 making the switch up to Tech 2 there. Looks like they've got just enough together with the T1 to prevent Felk there from overrunning. Looks like he was trying to, and suddenly finds himself a little light. Is moving engineers or flying engineers in to get that reclaim. Might be a little ambitious, certainly with the Seraphim destroyers and their beam weapons. Astronom presenting the flank here of his units towards Tengu. Never good this. This is just going to allow an inferior number of units from Tengu to have their way. And there you can see rounds are coming in. So of course not all of these units are able to effectively fire. Astronom says, I know, I'm moving them. And move he does. While the base wars further north continue. It's like both players with similar ideas. I'd say the one difference is that Tengu is going for the chunkier Rhino, and the equivalent would of course be the Pillar, but Prophet electing instead to go for the Mongoose. Mongoose does cost more than the Pillar as well. Is able to outrange it, but in terms of health is far less. Mobile missile launcher, I'd say it's pretty much even, and bases otherwise looking relatively similar as well. And this is the first T3 unit I've seen. It's the Trebuchet. Tengu gets that online, and if you can rush yourself a Trebuchet to the front line while your opponent is still Tech 1 or Tech 2, that really is a game changer. I mean, Trebuchet looks like he's actually aiming for the main base here. And again, here we see the problem when you keep these mobile missile launchers still for too long. They just succumb to other missiles. You can see there that Tengu keeping his moving. He may stand them still for a second or two, then he moves them again. Now we have the superior range of the Mongoose. They, of course, will deal a blow to the mobile missile launchers if they are allowed to remain. What happened to the old Trebuchet? Was it picked off? Well, Tengu now with a brick. Keep an eye on how that brick does. Just a quick look overall. We've got a bit of an air fight further south. Numbers looking relatively even. Difference is there appear to be 2 players from team number 2 involved in that fight versus the 1, and they've just about won it. Hoshmosh, perhaps a minute or two too late to the combat there with his 5 ASF. But again, numbers very even. Just needs to be fought atop of 1 cruiser, and whoever that cruiser is, that's going to make the difference. Meanwhile, further south, Purge has rolled forward. I was not expecting to see these Mantis do anything, but that's exactly what they've done. There's a huge walled off T1 point defense section there. They've somehow just rolled around it, gotten inside the shields, and Astronom is almost exclusively mobile missile launcher. We do see there are a couple of units here, the Yenzin hover tank. That is unfortunate, and if we take a look further north, Tengu, look at this. This is incredible. The bricks go to the front. Next line, we've got the mobile missile launchers, and behind those, we've got the Trebuchet. We've even got a deceiver in the back to prevent the enemy from being able to see these on radar and issuing orders to the Tech 1 bombers. to take these out. This right here is why Tengus are 2200. We do have some T3 units coming the other way. And we have Prophet attempting to reinforce his base there with shields. The Titans coming forward. And this Titan at the very least will be able to see that there are some mobile missile launchers back here. But of course, absent of being able to maintain the lock, that's not much use. The brick keeping the pressure on. Is there enough to win? No, but it's enough to keep the pressure on. Look at all the fire they're absorbing. And that leaves an open goal for all these mobile missile launchers to keep firing missiles in. Of course, it's only going to need one to connect with that shield once it's cracked. And the shield will go down. There is an attempt here to get a Ravager online. Again, the trebuchets launching their rounds in from afar, and they may actually impact before that shield has time to reignite. And there it goes. That was unfortunate. Another couple of seconds, that shield would have been on. That round would have been deflected. There's a whole bunch of build capacity and everything else going. And now look at this. Stage 4. The engineers on the attack move reclaim order straight out the factory to optimize range. I love seeing this. The bricks, the mobile missile launchers, the trebuchets, we've got engineers, we had the deceiver in the mix. And don't forget what a terrible start Tengu had. Seems like every man and his dog was picking on him, land and air. And somehow he's been able to recover. Now the bricks have got open field day versus these mobile missile launchers that, well, been caught with their pants down a little bit. And the bricks there just getting what they can. Astrodome trying to just cap off some of his mass extractors there. There's nothing at all to defend them. This is just throwing good money after bad at this stage. He does now decide to bail. Could have saved some of the mass, or better yet, detonated those mass extractors and reclaimed them for what it's worth. Put some of that mass into upgrading things back at base. Of course, easy to say when you've got nothing else to do. Well, it seemed all you had to do was rush bricks and get them to the front line ASAP. Further to the south, it seems that Team 2 enjoying relative success with the Navy as well, having gotten Team 1 back almost to the choke points. They're right around that area. The mass points from the central area have all been removed from T1. Although we do now have, look at this, this is very fast artillery. Who is firing that? Here it is, emissary from Iron Lag, and he's getting it capped off as we speak. 21 minutes, and those rounds are beginning to impact. Here they come. Probably the worst base they could be firing it at. MRA, who's entirely shielded off with the Seraphim shields, and here's why. Because he's got a nuke, and it's almost got one in the clip. I don't think a single emissary is going to crack the Seraphim shields. We already know it's going to fire. There it goes, it's opening up. Come on, look at it.
Strategic launch detected.
There it goes. Lovely. To see if that makes any good. Meanwhile, Tengu's made it all the way to the other side of the map, and suddenly Team 1 is pushed all the way back behind the mountains in 22 minutes, 22 seconds. The only presence is a couple of Tech 1 bombers and one Tech 1 engineer. I think we can discount that. So here comes the nuke. Question is, who's got the ante? Well, there it was. It must have come from somewhere over here. There it is. There was the anti-nuke, and look at that. Only just in the clip as well. 10, maybe 15 seconds, no more. I suspect when the nuke was fired, the missile hadn't quite yet completed. Large wave of torpedo bombers to deal with some of these destroyers. Favour gone a little bit further than Team 1 are comfortable with. Now come the Seraphim cruisers that are going to annihilate these torpedo bombers. They're going to have to refocus their target immediately. There is the order. K240 pumping out a lot of torpedo bombers nice and quickly. And it's just as well. And he does manage to pick off that second cruiser. So got a few Tech 2 naval vessels there, unfortunately. For Team 1, Favour's pumping out more all the time, and it looks like all of that reclaim's going to go over to Team 2 as well. So they may have just bought themselves a few seconds there. Precious else. Nitrazepam electing to push. Sorry, purge, I beg your pardon. Nitrazepam, of course, orange. With T1, well, that's not going to get very far. We've got Tech 2 Navy defending. We've got Tech 2 point defense. Mixture of both Seraphim and Cybram. I think the Mantis may have finally had their day. Let's have a look. Artillery, how's it done? Hasn't got a single kill yet, that emissary. It's been firing for 3 minutes and it's not picked off a single scout, engineer, or otherwise. But it has done. No doubt force the other team to heavily shield up those who hadn't already. That is, of course, with the exception of Tengu, who, for reasons best known unto himself, has probably the least developed base out of everybody, and that's because Tengu just sets up shop in the land that he's conquered. Which, you know, great while you're conquering. Not so good if the other team decides to push back. Look at this, Tech 3 engineers on the front line, and they're just going straight for Tech 3 not even messing around with Tech 2. We're going straight for Tech 3. And I don't believe this. One of the commanders, Favour, it must have been, took one to the face, I suspect, from the artillery. I don't see anything else over here. There we see further artillery rounds landing in. So yeah, the emissary goes from 0 kills to a shot to the face from a commander on the other side of the map. Nice. We have ourselves the first experimental. It's a Monkey Lord, and it's from Team 1, and they needed something because Team 2 pushed them all the way back. This Monkey Lord is, well, it's going to kill the Tech 1 for free. This is just veterancy. So got a bunch of whalers there from Hoshmosh. The whalers are, of course, good versus the Navy. Seraphim Cruise is probably the best because they've got the flak as well as the SAMs. Let's deal with large numbers of Tech 3 gunships. Nitrazepam keeping the pressure on with the air. It's actually, where's he stand with air? 90 aircraft, Merton 150. Other team, numbers are close. Of course, the other team does include some gunships. Costs more. Actually, Merton with a lot of scouts, we can discount those. But certainly these cruisers will tip the balance in favour of anybody that chooses to fight above them. See how the Monkey Lord is doing. 85 kills so far. I imagine almost exclusively the Tech 1. And now Tengu and his Tech 3 mass extractors at risk of going down. He did put himself a stealth gen up front, and I wonder if that has made all the difference. And I don't believe this. The stealth gen saves the Tech 3 mechs from what would have otherwise been, no doubt, a guaranteed priority target there for Astronome, had he have known that just to the north, and I suspect those Tech 2 Cerberus turrets firing upon the Monkey Lord gave it away. Astronome paying attention. Tengu throwing some bricks forwards. Here they come. Astronome making nice use of the Monkey Lord there, backing off, forcing Tengu to extend away from the source of resupply. Back up. Nachschub, as our German friends would call it. There you are, we've got Tech 3 battleships from both teams online further south, and Astronome made a very quick expansion out behind his Spider, and using support commanders to do so. I thought it was perhaps a bit dicey to send the main commander out this stage, as of course the main commander's highlighted by this box, so I shouldn't have gotten too excited. I like that he's using the Monkey Lord in not just throwing it away, but he's using it carefully. The problem is, look at what Tengu's got brewed here. These are all Tech 3 support factories. And these are going to be able to, between them, pump out, I don't know how many bricks. We're going to have 14 support factories here. 10 already online. And the bricks are moving in. There's a heavily damaged Monkey Lord. 157. Astronome has a Tech 2 Seraphim shield on, which is also the best Tech 2 shield. It's kind of like a Cybran Tech 5 shield, right? It's of course not true. Big scouting run there from Team 2, seeing what is where. Let's have a little look. Emissaries. And like now with 2, only 24 kills between them both, so not great. Monkey Lord almost dies there, forced to come out of its shield. As soon as it gets back in the shield, it's enough to save it, but the shield has collapsed. Astronome's made the decision to switch up to a wall of Tech 1 point defense, but bricks are able to outrange them as well as outgun them, and is still trying to cap off his mass extractors despite this. Monkey Lord goes back in again. Some brilliant micro here. Monkey Lord just moments away from getting its 5th star. Has he bit off more than he can chew this time? No! The Monkey Lord gets its final rank of vet just as it was about to die. Had less than 1,000 hit points left. And Astronome now rolls onto the scene with a new full health Monkey Lord. Tengu knows it. You can see he's rolling scouts out all the time. These Tech 1 scouts, he's got pretty much full intel on what's going on. And Team 1 very quick there on the reclaim to grab all of this wreck. Let's have a little look what is on the field. See, there's about 30,000 near enough in the middle. Similar, well, we've got far more down here. Actually looks like there was an experimental there. In fact, there it is. Chicken. Apologies for missing that. It does appear that MRA was able to send that in at some point, and I wonder if these support commanders were at least in part responsible for defending. I guarantee you they're going to be responsible in part for reclaiming it, that's for sure. That's going to flow into the coffers of K240. Mosh coming out with his whalers. And Tengu. What anti-air we got in the mix here? 2 flaks, 1 bouncer. May need a little more to deal with all of these whalers. Here comes the chicken bot. The bricks have been waiting. Chicken outranging the Monkey Lord's primary weapon, and the heavily damaged Monkey Lord looks like it's going to take the majority of that. The 5-star Monkey Lord with 217 kills. 218. There it goes. And the other Monkey Lord that was on full health, that basically just died for free versus this chicken. Look at that. Gets the turret turnaround just in time to get knocked out. Of course, there was little choice with this huge wall of bricks approaching behind. And with it, the chicken gets handed off into Tengu's control, who already has the bricks. Can't come too close because look at this. Team 1 have not only managed to hold at the bottleneck, they've managed to break out somewhat, led by the Seraphim attack submarine, should I say. And they've really been able to upset the advantage that Team 2 were enjoying in the sea. I dare say Team 2 slacked off a bit in the sea, having thought they'd won it. We've got Atlantis experimental aircraft carriers as well. Let's quick look at the overall scores. Team 1 marginally ahead, 3.21 million versus 3.16 million. So that's like 2% at, if that, favouring Team 1. So it's a very minor advantage. And I suspect the only reason Team 1 are in the lead is because of Ferganic, who was taken out, of course. His base has since been rebuilt. These boys, as usual, playing for keeps on this map. There's no handoff. You kill the player, his units and his base go up with it. Nay, full share. Megalith making its way in from Purge now as well. Look at all the reclaim. Both teams throwing engineers forward. I mean, Felk here getting engineers far further than he should, thanks to the Megalith's lack of rate of fire. But what really matters right now is this massive attack that we've got bearing down from Tengu. So take a moment to appreciate the beauty. Oops. The camera not so much. Bricks moving in. A lovely, well-placed Monkey Lord there. We've got so much assistance on that shield from those drones. The drones, the shields collapse. The drones immediately assist another shield. The Monkey Lord now left to face the wrath of the bricks. It backs off. It's only got 7 kills, but all of those are bricks. And you can see how heavily it's outnumbered. This is really nice teamwork. I really like there what Prophet is doing, assisting the shield with all of those drones, trying to buy as much time for his Monkey Lord and his point defense and his teammates as possible. The only thing is, if that flak gets in range, which I think we just saw it do, those drones are dead. They're going to have to get rebuilt back at the kennel. Huge walls of point defense. We've got support commanders coming in as well, trying to deal with some of these bricks. There goes that extremely brave monkey lord that no doubt prevented a complete overrun of Team 1's base. But we can see here that the number of units, the number of offensive units that Tengu has starting to fizzle out. Most of these at the back are anti-air. Do have a few more bricks coming through. We also have a nuke launch coming in as well. No doubt from over here we saw the nuke. Impression targeting Hoshmosh's air grid, who doesn't appear to have an anti-nuke. Not that I can see. That was no doubt taken out from these bricks. The bricks that are still on the rampage. And Hoshmosh trying to get as much out of his air grid as possible. He's trying to get all his engineers out of dodge. And I think actually very lucky to hold on to a sizable portion of the air grid. Engineers can come back. Of course, these bricks are still going.
Strategic launch detected.
We'll check on that in a sec. And the last brick there does peter out. The nuke launches from the launcher just as it's destroyed. That right there was a panic nuke. It was the defensive nuke of, well, I don't think I've ever seen a defensive nuke as bad as that. I think it was more of a panic launch than anything else. Even Tengu is impressed. We've got yet another experimental. This is this megalith from MRA with 100 odd kills. Astronom's fighting for his life. Team 1 who've still got all of their players. The shield there. The GC comes out and bravely takes on the megalith, faces it down, both arms sucking off a brick. GC has always wanted to suck off a brick. Gets to do two at the same time. Don't ask me how that's possible, but it is. And with it, oh, that air grid that Hoshmosh was lucky to hang on to was just taken out by another GC. This time, it is Nitrazepam this time. No, it's not. It is indeed Purge. I could have sworn that was an orange circle. Someone's saying get your eyes tested. Speaking of getting eyes tested, we've got a wave of torpedo bombers coming here. These are Tech 3 torpedo bombers. These are enough to one-shot any commander. There's so many there. Question is, did they get their torpedoes off before they were shot down? Well, a few of them didn't. Oh. And with it, Iron Lag manages to live for another day. Iron Lag, hugely important teammate. He's got what is now 3 emissaries online. Still an underwhelming number of kills. But with 3 of them, they should be able to start and knock through some shields. Hoshmosh, of course, the primary air player for Team 1, or one of their primary air players. Completely without a base now. And that's going to leave it in the hands of K240 until and unless Team 1 are able to get their northern base back. But the push here from Tengu is relentless. A 2400 there, a 22, I beg your pardon. Playing like a 2400 perhaps. Showing gap players how to play. Tell you what though, Astronom playing incredibly well considering he's facing off against a player who's 600 rating points above. Look at this. Gets his experimental, the damage one, inside the shield before letting it turn around again. while bringing others to base. Got engineers trying to reinforce shields, rebuild stuff all the time. Point defense trying to deal with some of these bricks that are breaking through. A few gunships here from Fleck. Let's get back up to speed. It's easy to get hypnotized by these amazing graphics still. I know I say it all the time, guys, but come on, this is a 15 going on 18-year-old game. I can't believe it. Yes, the FAF community does wonders keeping it going. And by the way, I would like to credit the FAF community, the volunteers that keep this game going. There have been far fewer desyncs this month than the last 6 months combined, so I don't know who's exactly done what, but it seems that all the swapping servers and endless updates might finally be paying off. It's still not perfect, but it's a damn sight better than it was. So yeah, shout out to all them that sit in their bedroom late at night coding for free. It's worked, it's paid off. And it looks like the GC there just able to hold. They were down to the last experimental. It was down to 20% health, but they've managed to hold on. Team 1 holding on and now firing out another nuke. Let's hope this nuke has more success than the last one that just went into the middle of some valley that was completely empty. Now this one appears to be heading for what could arguably be described as Tengu's main base. Tengu's base back behind the wall. The most underwhelming base I've ever seen on Gap, I think. And yeah, that is unfortunate. He's trying to get his build capacity out. Does manage to get most of it. But that's a lot of support factories that have gone. I think with this many Tech 3 engineers, Tengu's going to be back into that pretty quick. One advantage Tengu has is because he's spread his economy out so far across this entire central plateau. It's going to be quite difficult for nukes to shut that down unless T1 are able to get 6 or 7 nukes together and fire them off at every single mass spot. Hoshmosh, bless him, having to pretty much start again from zero. Doesn't have a single factory to his name. This forced into reclaiming mass so that he can rebuild anything whatsoever. In comes what appears to be a super nuke. There's one anti. Of course it takes 2. There is the second anti-nuke. The super nuke is shot down. Somebody over here has got themselves a YOLO. Where is it? Is it back here? Or is this just... Yes, it is.
Strategic launch detected.
And there comes the next one. And surely, if this don't redirect the emissary fire, nothing ever will. And it looks like there is the first round from the emissary to go vaguely towards that YOLO. And there come further rounds. Tell you what, getting rid of that power wouldn't be a bad idea. It actually appears that the emissaries are not firing on the same target. Oh, torpedo bombers once more. Tech 3 torpedo bombers. Where were they going for? And were the torpedoes? Well, there's your answer. Yes, the torpedoes were out before they were shot down. Better late than never. Hoshmosh defeated by Merton's Tech 3 torpedo bombers, and in comes the super nuke. K240, a large number of his ASF were taken out by the Comblast also, and that super nuke just put a massive hole into Team 1's recovery that was actually starting to bear fruit. Out comes another nuke. Is it going for the Navy? No, that wouldn't have been a bad target actually. Oh, Felk there still with a number of units to defend with. I'm not sure if it's enough, but in comes the nuke. Oh, and the super nuke is going to get deleted by a regular nuke. They identified it. In comes the nuke. And that's going to feel good. There is, of course, one more YOLO missile in the air. We'll have to see if that's going to connect with the ground. Or do we have any anti-nukes? Oh, well, that is unfortunate. Astronome, who fought so valiantly from that base, able to hold back, I don't know how many experimentals and bricks. And look at this. Tengu, like night follows day, waiting for that super nuke to connect. And I guarantee you, as soon as that blast radius has finished doing its thing, he's going to move in. Oh, and Team 1 were just beginning their recovery north of the river.
Strategic launch detected.
Looks like the emissary fire has been redirected. And it looks like they're going for the strategic missile defenses. That seems to be their priority. I can only suspect that Team 1 have nukes ready to fire. Well, in fact, there is one of them, and this is a defensive nuke versus that Navy. It's like a few players realizing it, trying to get their high-value battleships out of the area. A little bit like Pearl Harbor, right? Get the aircraft carriers out. Pretend we don't see Japan coming, and then we can get the entire American people who are against the war for the war. Of course, some people think that's nonsense. Just a coincidence, right? Oh, yeah, the support commander's going up. It is a little bit loud, zoomed out. I have to agree with Gar there. That is frustrating. Merton's air grid seems to be next. Have they gotten through? I mean, they must be going for the... Well, they've gotten that. Is there any more anti-nukes in the area? Well, there's one here. It's wide open. It's not got any in the clip. This one at the front, well, this one at the front's got 5. So that is a priority. I think if Team 1 are going to stand any chance, because look at this. Team 2 have got ASF over the other side, just parking up north. Astronome, credit to him. Another player starting again from absolute zero. He's got a single Navy Yard to his name. He's got a couple of GCs to try and defend with. But that versus 3 inbound megaliths, and I don't know how many bricks here from Tengu. 49 and a whole bunch of walking SAM sites. Prophet, who was trying to re-establish on the coastline his base, of course. The artillery, long-range artillery, looks like they're going for the naval construction facilities belonging to Team 1. Team 2, I beg your pardon, they're going to get it as well. At least there was the HQ. Somehow, Team 1 holding on despite being reduced to a tiny percentage of the map. That's what Team 1 are currently reduced to. Team 2, of course, controlling everything else. Here comes the big push. A large number of bricks together with the experimentals, the bricks with their torpedo launchers. They're going to be able to cause havoc to any naval units. And here comes once again a huge wave of torpedo bombers, this time Tech 2. Their primary objective is this heavily damaged Tech 4 battleship, the Tempest. Was it enough to kill it? Apparently not. 3,000 hit points, 2,000. The bricks here paying particular attention to it. There it goes. So the few hit points that were left now gone. We've still got all of these long-range artillery. How many have we got now? Iron lag. Well, he's got at least three emissaries. He's also got the nuke. It's like Team 2 methodically taking out these Tempers from the sky one after the other. There was a turret missile ship. And look at this. Team 1 positioning their experimentals on the coastline, walling off the coastline with Tech 1 point defense, trying to get ready to deal with these bricks that at some point must inevitably make it to the surface if they're going to try and roll out this base. We've got point defense firing into the ground. Don't say that was a bunch of frigates that took out a support command. I guess all things are possible.
Strategic launch
It's
detected.
like Tengu, or what was his home base, has been taken out. This forward base here that had the 5 strategic missile defenses in, the SMD, that's been taken out. And further back here as well, there was a nuke defense. That's gone. That was empty last time we checked. That would have had time to rebuild. And we can see there the nuke is on the way from Iron Lag. A huge wave of shockers there, together with a point defense, going for these experimentals and bricks. The GCs are moving in. Wow. Absolutely wow. Let's have a quick look at this nuke. Does it make it through? And the nuke's actually going for the Navy yards in the back. They were perhaps hoping there might be a commander there. That's going to impact. We do see that there's Burge. He's running away to the south. So yes, that nuke's going to impact, but I'm not sure they're going to get a commander, and that must be the objective with no share. One of the experimentals is down. There's another very heavily damaged. We've got engineers here from K240 desperately trying to get torpedo launchers on. It's a very heavily damaged megalith there. And K240 just about able to maintain control, but what is this? A teleported Seraphim commander gets in the back, does manage to destroy a few units thanks to a quick response there from Team 1. Not much else is achieved. Nitrazepam with his pilots that are definitely not on nitrazepam, shooting down torpedo bombers. The torpedo bombers that are trying to get rid of these experimentals. Another one rolling up there onto the sea. The very heavily damaged one being withdrawn. May as well bring it back, get the mass, rather than leave it for the enemy. Oh, a huge wave of strategic bombers coming in here from Purge. And they're going after Iron Lag. And Iron Lag, arguably the most important player at this stage of the game with multiple emissaries. They managed to crack the shields. There is a single desync. Iron Lag, who's of course with a mobile shield of his own. Don't tell me any more. Experimentals coming up from the shoreline. Iron Lag desperately trying to build more. He manages to survive the shockers, but in come 2 bugs now from Tengu. The experimentals were not able to get on shore, but surely these 2 bugs are going to... Iron Lag is a Tech 3 commander. He's going to be able to build quickly. He's trying to get some SAMs on. Now he's trying to get some shields on. His own personal shield is about to collapse. There it goes. He's desperately trying to get more. Come on. Oh, his health is less than half. 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's good night. He does shoot down one of the Borgs. But the other Beetle Borg, the Soul Ripper, survives. We also see Tengu here making landfall with the megalith as far back as it goes. And with that, I think the hopes for Team 1 may have just lost. There goes the base there belonging to Iron Lag, who was really So much artillery over there. Granted, they didn't get that many kills, but once they started focusing down the nuke defense, Ironlag able to fire the nuke. Just didn't seem it was enough this time. Down goes Falk. And with it, K240, who is arguably the last player remaining with any sort of a base. Down goes Prophet. Bang. And a nice mix of colours there. K240 doesn't want to give him the satisfaction of with it. What an amazing game. And again, in no small part, I think, to the 2200 Tengu. Some amazing work there positioning his units. And with that, we reach the end of another game. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, I do hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, from me here deep inside the UK, take care. Thanks to everyone who supports the channel. It does make a big difference. I always love casting these games, as you know. It takes forever to find a good one. So yeah, from me, that's it. See ya.